Y hola de nuevo. Dada mi capacidad de estupidez innata, he perdido uno de los... el sonido de una de las grabaciones. Soy así. Y voy a grabar simplemente esto por encima. Podría no hacerlo, pero... bueno, lo prefiero. Ahora, posiblemente en alguna de estas viñetas empiece a avanzar rápido. Os daré unos segundos para que podáis pausar si queréis para leer el texto, pero es que se me consume mucho el tiempo. De momento aún no tengo la capacidad de subir vídeos de 20 minutos o más, entonces nada. Es muy posible que este comentario no cuaje con el de la siguiente parte, pero así son las cosas.
Ashley joined up with us and took us to the spot where she lost her squad. That's when we saw it. The ship. Like nothing I'd ever seen. It was massive, scorching the... We followed the path of destruction to an artifact. A beacon left by a long-dead race called the Protheans. The colony had dug it up, and whoever attacked them had tried to take it. Chief Williams made the mistake of getting too close. It hit her with some type of energy.
Hay más silencios que palabras porque...
That's when it hit me. Hard.
Esto también tampoco puedes llenar todo el espacio hablando. Tienes que también dejar un poco el sonido ambiental del propio juego.
Nightmare. By the time I woke up, we were halfway to the Citadel on our way to meet the Council. I was expected to explain what I'd seen. Anderson came along. So did Adina, our political representative on the Citadel.
Udina es el que va de blanco y Anderson el de azul.
That the ship we'd seen was a potential threat.
Ahí a la izquierda.
The main suspect for the Eden Prime massacre was a Turian Spectre named Saren.
Saren es el que ocupa la atención, el rojo. Ese es Udina. Eso es una Asari. Eso es un turiano. Las diferentes razas. Eso es un Krogan. Posiblemente ya lo podáis asociar vosotros mismos leyendo a la vez, pero no está de más. Una aquariana.
She'd procured some information on Saren. Evidence that proved Saren was dirty. Tally's evidence proved that Saren was responsible for the massacre on Eden Prime, and that the immense warship we'd spotted was in fact Saren's flagship. Saren was trying to find a way to bring back a race of sentient machines from dark space. Machines allegedly responsible for cleansing the galaxy of all organic. These Reapers were blamed for wiping out all life 50,000 years ago, including the Protheans, then disappearing back through the mass relays to dark space, leaving no trace they'd ever been. That explained why Saren was after the beacon, and it made some sense out of my visions. But not much else. We couldn't convince the Council that the Reapers were a threat, but they agreed Saren had to be stopped. They stripped him of his Spectre status and gave me the honor.
Bien, conseguimos una importante mejora en la historia.
My first task.
El enemigo deja de tener la protección del gobierno y la obtenemos nosotros. Anderson. Oh, qué generoso. Otra Asari. Está a favor nuestro, de nuestro equipo.
As beautiful as she is intelligent, and born with a unique ability to meld with other species. Liara was able to help me decipher some of the vision the beacon had given me. Nothing concrete, but it gave me some clues. Ashley was a little concerned.
Si en algún lugar aparece la palabra biótico, eso es es un tipo de poder, ya se verá en la siguiente parte. Primera lección del juego, la misión es lo primero, es ser célibe. Liara es con la alienígena. Pero, bueno, nosotros vamos a quedarnos con Ash, porque nos gustan las humanas.
finding Saren. Thanks to Liara's help, we had our next lead, Venezia. Saren had taken her to Novaria. The Queen's drones were everywhere, and they weren't happy. We had to fight through hundreds of them to get to Venezia. By the time we arrived, Saren was gone.
Gracias a la ayuda de nuestra aliada, vamos a Novaria, nos encontramos con aliens. Intentamos hacer entrar en razón a la madre de nuestra aliada, pero no ha podido ser. Menudo bicharraco. Y segunda opción, la podemos matar o salvar. Matar, no, salvar. Es mejor tener el agradecimiento de una raza alienígena, creo yo. Así que la salvamos. Mucho mejor, según mi parecer.
With Saren's top lieutenant dead, he was quickly running out of time and places to hide. I tracked him down at his base on Vermeer, but we soon learned it was more than a base of operations. It was a breeding ground. Saren was breeding an army of Krogan. He'd found a cure for the genophage.
Se explica lo que es la genofagia, una enfermedad que evita que reduce la población Krogan, por decirlo así. Según avance el juego, sabremos más de ello. Parece ser que Rex quiere discutirnos. Podemos elegir matarlo, con lo cual obviamente nos vamos a quedar sin el aliado, o salvarlo y ver qué pasa. Lo salvaremos. Chico listo.
And that Saren was the real threat. When we finally got to the center of the base, I realized he was already in communication with the Reapers. Sovereign, Saren's flagship we'd all assumed was just a ship, was a Reaper. It spoke to me, threatened me. I could feel the menace it had for every living thing. It wanted me dead. It wanted us all dead. And I knew it was capable of doing just that. What I couldn't understand was why Saren would help. But there was no time to think about it. Sovereign knew where we were. We had to destroy the base and get the hell out.
El soberano, el segador nos arrincona y es la hora de correr.
And in talking to him, it was Sovereign, the Reaper. And Saren was in deeper than all of them. He tried to convince me he was still in control. Said he found a way to reduce the Reaper's influence, but he was kidding himself. Or believing the lies Sovereign was telling him. Before I could convince him to stop, he ran, leaving me just seconds to extract my squad mates. I tried, but I wasn't fast enough. I could only save
Podemos salvar a Kaidan, nuestro aliado, nuestro compañero, o a Ashley, nuestra novia. A la novia.
But I had to choose, and I chose Ash. That was the last time Saren would slip away from me. I knew then, the next time we met, one of us would die. With my team mostly intact, we chased Saren and his army to Ilos, a long-lost planet.
Siempre recordaremos a Kaidan con una foto en nuestro escritorio y una medallita a su tremendo valor. Mantenemos la moral alta del equipo, aunque Ash sabe ver a través de nuestras palabras.
Until that moment, we'd put our feelings aside for the sake of that mission. But why wait? We gave in to each other, and it was perfect. While it lasted. We arrived on Ilos, close behind Saren. Once on the planet, we discovered a Prothean databank that helped me put the final pieces of my vision together. The Reapers had come 50,000 years ago. And every 50,000 years
before
that,
los segadores cada 50.000 años vienen, matan a todos y se retiran a su oscuro mundo de origen. Aunque nosotros tenemos una ligera ventaja, que es que los proteanos nos dieron un poco más de tiempo para prepararnos y seguramente toneladas de información repartida por los distintos mundos que habían colonizado.
Saren knew this. He was leading his army to we followed him to the Citadel.
La ciudadela es como la ONU de todas las especies de la galaxia. Entonces es necesario correr a salvarla. Indudable. Hemos arrinconado a Saren y lo asesinamos como debe de ser. No obstante, la nave del Consejo de la ONU Intergaláctica, la Ascensión del Destino, sacrificamos al Consejo y ayudamos a conservar la flota humana o lo salvamos. Somos héroes, debemos arriesgarlo todo y salvarlos. ¿Sí? ¿Sí? ¿No? Sí, lo salvamos.
Without them, the fleets would be in disarray. Even with the Citadel back in my control, Saren defeated, and the Normandy leading the combined galactic fleet. The battle against Sovereign, it took the combined fleets of humanity and the other races. But in the end,
logramos matar al segador.
At the costs. While humanity's efforts in the war earned us our first seat on the council, it was a hollow victory. The Reapers were still out there. I knew the fight was far from over, but as the one who'd led the fight against Saren, I was given both great leaders in their own right.
Ahora tenemos la posibilidad de tener un consejero, Udina. Me cae personalmente mal, o Anderson. Anderson, por la razón que pone ahí, ninguna ambición se interpondría en su camino. Eso. A pesar de que el otro sea un político nato, Anderson es la opción más lógica. La mejor forma de dar un paso acertado en todo esto. Otra misión rutinaria. Y bueno, estos son los últimos segundos del cómic. Va a salir un pequeño corte porque, bueno, todo quedará explicado en la siguiente parte. Muchas gracias por ver y adiós.